You know what we're witnessing in real time, and this is amazing that we're able to now lock on and see for ourselves in real time. We're witnessing those that are tapped in, truly gifted, truly part of the divine. But yet, when it comes to the topic, the conversation, and them being up next for love, a divine union contract, everybody begins to crack. Everybody exterior begins to fold. And it's not a knock or judgment on anybody. It's no disrespect. But we are able to witness in real time, right? More and more and more. You're saying to yourself that these unions is meant to further divine planning, the blueprint of the divine to bring in future star seeds, earth angels, crystal children, and build the kingdom of the divine. Bring forth establishing order and thy kingdom come, thy will be done, so to speak, right? But yet, those who are supposed to be the emissaries for the divine, those who are tapped in, you begin to see the true nature of being unhealed and not truly being what we all, because we all see the gifts and the talents, and we from a distance, right, we're thinking that all these gifted people who are tapped into the divine consider themselves chosen. Fine, you don't want to use that attribute. Some attribute within the collective, starseed, earth angel, chosen, etc. Because people will get technical and then they'll be like, I don't want to use chosen. Okay, fine, let's not use chosen. Starseed, earth angel, divine, etc. Don't try to go further than that, because what are you actually choosing? But we'll get into that in a second. You begin to see in real time how those who are tapped in, chosen, emissaries for the divine, begin to fold and crack when it comes to walking into a divine union, accepting real love, real commitment, establishing order in their lives, and the commitment in the relationship, divine order, the furthering divine planning. Everybody begins to show that there's major issues being unhealed when it pertains to true commitment and true love. It just is what it is. We can see it in real time unfolding with many different beings and individuals, chosen ones, star seeds, who are up next by way of the divine to walk into this divine marriage, this divine union, this divine committed relationship. And you realize that people have truly issues, unhealed wounds as it pertains to trust, commitment, honor, respect, and a true divine union. Whatever the excuses and the reasons, or not, let's not even say excuses, whatever the reasons may be, there's major issues when it comes to true commitment, true love. People will make the excuse of why they ghost a true committed divine relationship. They'll say they're not ready. They'll say, they don't have enough money. They'll come up with all type of excuses and reasons. They can't afford it. They have unhealed trauma. They'll come up with all type of excuses and reasons other than coming up with reasons why they should take a leap of faith. Because keep in mind, as emissaries for the divine, as chosen, as star seeds, we are always saying every single day that we present ourselves on screen, on camera, at the library, everyday life, behind the scenes, because everybody don't have a platform that are chosen and divine beings. Some people are behind the scenes, they're not popular, whatever, cool. However, what we are saying is that we're tapped in, we're connected with our spirit team, rather. We're connected with our beloved angels and ancestors, or at least you should be, because that's what makes you a chosen divine being. Cultivating that relationship with the divine, trusting your spirit team, knowing when and how to take your leap of faith, allowing them to guide and order your steps, being a co-creator and a co-partner with the cosmos, the universe, and your spirit team and guides. That's what being tapped in, being a chosen being is all about. However, when it comes to taking a leap of faith in that department of love and commitment, trust, and honor, everybody who are quote unquote chosen starseed begin to fold and crack. Begin to fold and crack. We're seeing it in real time. This is amazing because at least we can now pinpoint where we are as a collective. People are cracking and breaking, maybe because, we don't have a full spectrum understanding of what a divine union is, what it's meant to do, what it's meant to be. And most of us, a lot of us do, right? But still, when it comes to saying, okay, divine, I'm up next, you're tapping me to be up next, I'm with it. I don't fully, you know, have the full spectrum, the full painting, the full picture figured out. But I know that my spirit team, my beloved angels, is not going to guide me or lead me wrong or lead me astray or lead me in the wrong direction. I talk about leaps of faith every other time about everything else. So why, when it comes to this specific particular subject matter, people begin to fold, crack, and damn near break? What's interesting, I find, is that people will much rather run in the opposite direction, join a dark cult and coven, get caught up with sinister criminal networks, make excuses for going on an adventure, going the wrong way, going in the wrong direction, opposed to and rather than walking into a committed, loving, divine union partnership and cultivating that, putting the work in for that. They would much rather go into a dark, sinister criminal network and organization. Because let me tell you what happens, even if that's not your intent, even if you feel ghosting is within the best interest for the potential partner that you don't want to let down or disappoint, etc. Because that's what a lot of people tell themselves. They're doing it because they don't want to disrespect the other person. But really, that couldn't be further from true. That is them making that choice for them, for not having the courage or being willing to take a leap of faith. Has nothing to do with the other person, because obviously, somehow, some way, the divine union contract was recognized, acknowledged, and brought up in the first place. One of the parties brought it up, brought it to the surface, communicated it, acknowledged it, accepted it, and said, hey, here I am. Are you prepared? Are you ready? What are we doing? Are you willing to accept or offer? Now, mind you, you have free will to a certain extent to make the choice you want to choose. You do not have to accept or choose a divine union, high-level soul mate contract. You do not have to. Nobody could twist your arm and force you to do such a thing. However, I advise you to look extremely close to every single so-called chosen one, star seed, earth angel, and emissary for the divine that choose to ghost, ignore, reject, deject, disrespect, or dishonor. Not saying that that's the case in every scenario that is disrespect or dishonor or deject, but overall, the divine see it that way. Overall. Because if you're not ready to take it to the next level and get on your divine path and your divine purpose, and if you're limiting your perspective and limiting your willingness to take your leap of faith as it pertains to this divine union, high-level soul contract, but you preach and teach and talk about leaps of faith and having courage and faith all in the interim, all in the meantime, as it pertains to every single thing else, collective or, walking this divine path. But when it comes to this one specific thing, by way of unhealed trauma, unhealed issues, etc., this is where you draw the line, and this is where we draw the line, and this is where we stop and get cold feet or freeze like a deer in headlights or whatever the case may be. It appears that this is some type of kryptonite, very difficult issue, where most, by way of childhood, family, previous prior relationships, are truly struggling as it pertains to trust, love, honor, respect, commitment, etc. This is a real thing that we're experiencing, witnessing, and observing in real time as it pertains to extremely gifted, intelligent, beautiful divine beings, chosen ones, star seeds. This is not a knock. This is not judgment on anybody, because we all grow, we all heal at a different pace, at different times. This is not a knock. This is not judgment. But I'm imploring, I'm asking everybody to pay attention to what we are witnessing, what we are seeing as it pertains to this specific subject matter, this specific issue. There's a real issue here amongst divine chosen beings. We would rather go in the opposite direction rather than take that leap of faith and step into this divine union, high level soul contract. A little while ago, I mentioned getting into a dark culture coven, even though that's not the intent. Think of it this way. If you reject and ignore or ghost and go and choose not to take that leap of faith and get into that high level soul contract or divine union, because not every high level soul contract is a divine union, even though they are similar in nature and both are orchestrated and put together by the divine. You have a divine union, which always consists of ancient royal blood arrangement by, the divine putting the beloved ancestors and these ancient royal bloodlines, putting these unions together. Then you have high level soul contracts. High level soul contracts. Same thing. The divine puts it together. You come together. One consists specifically of ancient royal bloodlines, ancient royal blood. This means those deities, those gods and goddesses, regardless of what your religious outlook or dogma beliefs are, there were other ancient beings that walked this planet, powerful beings that walked this planet. I, God, am a jealous God. Put no others before me. Is that a confession or an admission in the first place that there are other beings in existence for that statement to be made in the first place? Why would it have to be acknowledged and stated and made in the first place if there was no such thing, if there was no other powerful, supreme, superior beings that walked the planet and or came from beyond the stars? In other words, I, the Don, am the Don of this particular La Familia. Don't come over here in this crew as my lieutenants and my captains and my sergeants and my soldiers, my foot soldiers, talking about the other Dons and other La Familias and how great that La Familia is. Because over here, we run a strict, regime, a strict ship over here. And over here, we do things the way that this La Familia or family do things. You understand? Take it further. I, grandma, am a very jealous grandma. Don't come in my house talking about Miss Johnson's banana pudding, because I make the best banana pudding or lemon meringue or whatever, right? But grandma, Miss Johnson banana pudding, good. What did I tell you? Don't you come in here talking about that old Miss Johnson's banana pudding. I, grandma, am a jealous grandma, and I say my banana pudding is the best. You see where I'm going with this? You have old ones, and then you have ancient ones. You have superior, supreme beings. Then you have ancient, more further ancient beings, which, at the end of it all, they all work together. They all acknowledge each other. They all work together. Many of them are the muscle for the ancient overseers. Pa Anuna, or the archangels and Elohim of Elion, Elion El, which is where you get Eli, Eli, Lama Sabachthani, Elion, Elion El, the most high, the highest amongst those group of beings, amongst that La Familia, those beings, the muscle that go as they want, do as they want, go where they please, do as they please. That group of beings travel the boundless universe on their 3.5 times the size of the planet Earth starship, planet ship called Nibiru. or Planet X, which used to be listed on NASA.gov as an official planet before they made it a hypothetical some time ago. You have many different species of beings. Some are older than others, and then some are most ancient than all. But they all have a profound respect and acknowledgement for each other. This is where your galactical confederations come in, because this is what maintains peace, balance, and order to limit the wars, chaos, and conflict, hence having to cast out 2/3 who are unruly and want to do what they want to do and change the balance, disrupt the balance of the balanced universes, star systems, solar systems, galaxies, etc. But let me get back to what I was saying. We are acknowledging in real time that there's an issue by way of whatever the reasons are, mostly tied into childhood, family issues, when it comes to this real love. When we reject these divine unions, even if it doesn't have the intent tied to it of joining a dark cult and coven, by way of having yourself dangling out there away from, apart from, going and gravitating towards the divine, taking that leap of faith and drawing a line how far you're willing to have your faith and your bond with your spirit team, and how much and how far you're willing to trust in the divine, right? Up until that point, now all of a sudden you draw the line. Even if you don't have the intent of getting with a dark cult and coven, having yourself out there dangling in the wind, not taking that next step in your healing journey on your divine mission, your divine path, you most likely can and will end up being scouted, recruited, beguiled, lured, not Lord, lure, Lure, right? Lured off your divine path by a narcissistic sociopath. What else is there? Those evil and wicked seeds are on standby, even if energetically just witness and acknowledge you in the spirit realm, and even sense it on you that you just rejected, ran from, and was too scary, no disrespect, to walk into a divine union. So now you left yourself out there. So what do you think you're now attracting, and what's going to come to you easily, consistently, and abundantly? The opposite energy of what you rejected, that what you turned down, that what you ran from, that what you were afraid of. We're not talking you contemplate it, you need time, you accept it, but you need time to just wrap some things up, work on some things, get your mind right, but you accepted it. No, we're not talking that. We're talking you saying, I'm going to ghost it, ignore it, reject it, deject it, and then we can go further. Not that this is the case all the time, disrespect it and dishonor it. What do you think happens after that? What do you think you are drawing to yourself after that? What else is there to draw to yourself after that, leaving yourself out there dangling after you reject it? You're going to attract the opposite energy, the opposite path, the opposite trajectory. Now, let's go further. You're looking at it as, I'm rejecting that person. And maybe subconsciously you don't admit it to yourself, but you're rejecting that person not just because you don't have the money. You're rejecting that person because truly, most of the time, a divine union is not always based on what you have typically seen yourself liking, desiring, or gravitating towards. Let's be honest. So a lot of times that package that's going to heal you and raise you in degrees of consciousness and connect you with that ancient royal bloodline, not all the time, but typically as one layer of testing, one layer of seeing where you are, the discipline, right? Which is going to lead to the ultimate decision-making process of why you run in the opposite direction or why you drag your feet. Because let's be honest, if it's what you typically enjoy or what you really desire, you wouldn't hesitate to entertain it and run to it. The way you run and entertain a smiling liar and a charming devil, beguiling you, luring you, smiling in your face. You entertain that. So most of the time, when that divine union person, that divine being is presented to you, it's not going to be what you typically desire or will gravitate or pick or choose. They might dress funny. They might talk funny. They might be shorter and not taller. They might be maybe pudgy. Let's say pudgy, right? Not slim. They might not have a immediate 6-pack or 8-pack or 12-pack. They might have what appear to be a beer belly, even though they don't drink, right? All of these type of things factor in. However, the energy within that vessel is more powerful, more valuable than you can possibly ever know or imagine. And within these divine union high-level soul contracts, anything worth having, the saying is, you have to work towards it, respect it, honor it, cultivate it. So it might be that you have to learn the learning curves and respect boundaries in the beginning, right? Because you don't just jump up, move in. We have a divine union, we have a high level soul contract. All right, I'll be there, let's say next week. No, you need to come now, today. No, it don't work like that. And then when you do begin to court each other and communicate and things of that nature, there are going to be learning curves and boundaries that have to be respected and honored. And you're going to have to learn your person and give your person that proper space and respect and let them know that you're not coming in to disrupt their flow or disrupt their life or try to control. That's not what a divine union is in the first place. A divine union is a different level of respect, honor, and healing. Two people being complete, two high priests, the high, emperors and high priests and things of that nature being complete within themselves, and then now taking it to the next level by way of divine guidance. So what happens when you reject it, you denounce it, you disrespect it, and you leave it, for something that is not meant for you to, a direction that's not meant for you to go in. You leave yourself out there to uh, be scouted by, lured, and taken off track by something completely different. Think of it this way. Archangel Michael presents himself and say, here I am. Are you ready? Are you ready? My Cosmosian initiate. Are you ready to learn the ways of the cosmos, of the divine, and take your spiritual education to the most extreme, highest degrees? Are you ready to learn the ways of the cosmos and the throne and the divine, etc.? And be like, nah, I'm not ready, Michael. So if you reject Archangel Michael, who are you accepting? Let me ask you, if Archangel Michael come to you, because you do realize Archangel Michael is the high priest, right? You do realize Archangel Michael is considered the Ancient of Days, right? You do realize Archangel Michael is one of the 24 elders. You realize this, right? You realize Archangel Michael sits around the throne, stands at the right hand, but also sits around as one of the 24 elders of the throne as well. Protects and defends, but also is a decision maker, also a high priest. And on this planet, his mystery schools and ancient mystic orders have been established, where shaman and guru and many different cultures come far and wide to learn the ways of this high priest. His name being El Kubt, the axis, like the planet spins on the axis. El Khidr, the green one. Sufi order, or Sons of the Green Light, or um, the Ancient of Days, or the Son of Righteousness, the Son of Justice, right? also known as Meliki Sedek, Melchizedek, is also Archangel Michael, the high priest, Meliki Sedek Melchizedek, right? So his mystery schools have been set up across the globe in various degrees of knowledge and wisdom and understanding and overstanding. And even your prophets and prophetesses and your, um, you know, ones that have been seen as messiahs and was learnt, initiated under this high priest, this archangel, and learned the ways of his mystery schools, be it Moses, be it Yahshua, Messiah. These beings were initiated after the order of Melchizedek. So if he steps to you himself and say, "Are you ready, my child? Are you ready, divine being, chosen one, star seed, earth angels?" And let's also go further and include that he is the commander and the general, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, of the collective, the 144,000. Archangel Michael is the commander, the general, the leader of that 144,000, the one who is responsible for guiding you, protecting you, training you when you are taken aboard the Crystal City. I don't know the exact locations that you'll be trained, or if there are other bases or other planets, etc. But I know that one of the first havens or first stops, right? Heaven being from the word haven, is going to be the Crystal City that is cloaked, invisible, that's above the earth. This Crystal City is a massive city. And this is one of the first havens or first stops for those of you who are of the divine, of the 144,000, of the collective that is going to be collected and safely escorted off the planet before the cataclysms, before the, different events unfold, before permission is given for these Luciferians and reptilians and different species to wreak havoc, before Second Chronicles, I believe, or Second Kings and Chronicles, where the flesh of politicians and kings will be consumed by these beings that will be on standby after you who are chosen and of the divine are safely escorted, taken out of the way before havoc is wreaked on this planet. Isn't that not prophecy? Isn't that not in your scriptures? And yes, that part is confirmed, and yes, that part is true. And regardless of the many mistranslations and scriptures taken out of context and many different versions, we can acknowledge that there's much truth and that there is many portions and parts that remain accurate. As great as we can acknowledge it, to be accurate, many parts and pieces and portions and percentages remain accurate. So, him being the commander and the general of the chosen, the collective, the 144,000, and is going to come collect his soldiers, his children, because at the end of the day, y'all, these beings, these supreme beings, look at you as children, as babies. Even though, our growth and our healing requires much discipline, and, we're responsible for cultivating that growth. And we're, treated, it's a mixture. We're treated as children, as babies under their tutelage and eyes, but, we're also soldiers in this spiritual war, in this battle, this fight. So we have a lot of responsibility, right? And if he comes and say, "You ready, my child?" and you say, "No, I'm not ready. I don't have enough money. I didn't save enough." Or, "I'm not completely healed because I didn't get the proper love and I didn't get enough hugs when I was small." You know what I'm saying? And then when I got married or when I got into a relationship, I was cheated on and I was breadcrumb and they was at somebody else's house. We used to fight and argue all the time. They came home, said, "Where you been?" It was like, "Oh man, I was at my auntie house. I was at grandma's house, Nana house, or I was at my mama house." "Oh yeah, you was at your mama house? All right, let me call." "No, no, 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 don't do that. Don't do that." "What you mean don't do that? You said you was at your mom's house, right?" "Yeah, man. Are you tripping? What you mean why I'm tripping?" So whatever the case may be, this trauma that has built up. And so Michael was saying, "Hey, my child, you ready?" "Nah, Michael, I ain't ready, Michael. I ain't get enough hugs. I was cheated on and stuff like that. And plus, I looked at my bank account the other day. Car broke down, had to get my car fixed, had to buy a new tire and all that. I gotta replenish my, account, Michael." You're like, So you reject Michael. If you reject Michael, what else is there? What else is there? If you reject the commander in general of what you say you are a part of every single day, collective, chosen, star seeds, earth, angels, my family. If you reject the commander of that, what are you a part of? What are you choosing? What are you accepting by default, even? What are you accepting by default? Are you not accepting the ones he cast down? What else is there to accept? What else is there to gravitate towards? What other energy is going to automatically gravitate towards you? Tell me. Even energetically, on standby, hissing, whispering, watching, lurking. Michael come to you. "Oh, let's see what decision they about to make. Ooh wee. Cause your fingers. Stop salivating on me. Stop spitting on me. Let's see what decision they about to make. This one is good. This is the one right here. If we could get this one, if we could pull this one off, because this one, they still got superficial ways and they still focus on a lot of materialism, you know what I'm saying? And also they got a lot of unhealed wounds. And then, you know what I'm saying? Let's just see. All right, hush, be quiet, be quiet. Michael, come back. Michael getting ready to present, what they getting ready to ask for. What he getting ready to say? "You ready, my child, to get on this divine path, take it to the next level?" "Micah, I don't got enough money. I ain't get enough hugs and kisses and caressing and hugging and loving, and I just had to get a new tire." "Oh, okay. Okay. Be blessed, my child. Be blessed." You know what I mean? "All right, Micah. I'll let you know." And then right after that, what energetically, what's coming towards you? You don't believe that? You don't see it? You don't accept it? That perspective don't hit or register? It don't, right? You rather replace that perspective with something else, right? However, the reality is, if you're rejecting the divine, because there's only one side and the other side, and you can't have your foot in both. You just can't. You can't say, "I want to go on an adventure. I want to party with these devils and demons, these cults and covens and the wicked and evil seed. I want to have fun with them, overindulge, take these substances, let them slip stuff in my drink and my food when I'm not looking, keep me under a binding spell, keep me distracted, keep me in a mental fog, keep me unclear." Even when I begin to wake up and say, "You know what, I'm tired of this. I know my soul is calling out, telling me I don't belong here," because I remember another time where I had more discipline and faith and honor and respect for myself. Nah, they not gonna let you do that. They're gonna constantly be in your ear. "Yo, stay with me." They're gonna be crying and begging and trying. You're gonna have some devil in your ear crying and convincing you that you should stay with them and keep having a good time and slipping more stuff and paying for more spell work to keep you in the mental fog, keep you from waking up, keep you from snapping out of it. You never muster up the courage to get out of the situation or correct or fix the mistakes you made. I mean, and nobody else could fix the mistakes but you. Nobody else could. Even if a person wanted to help you, they cannot help you, because more than likely, if you ventured off onto that side, you are already accumulated and racking up karmic debt. And karmic debt is not always bad, yeah, but it's got to be paid off. And it sure tastes bad It sure come across as bad, even though it's about lessons and learning and healing and maturing and learning the right way and balancing and it sure don't taste good when you begin to lose all your finances, the very thing that you coveted, that you told Maca that you ain't have enough of. Instead of you taking your leap of faith and sacrificing going without for a little while, just to prove that you have the discipline and the wherewithal and building up that characteristics within yourself. I know, y'all, we love security. We love to be taken care of. We love to have that blanket and to be able to not um, feel like we're in a drought or a lack. But I'm telling you, sometimes this divine path, this divine purpose, this divine journey and mission requires you to make sacrifices. It requires for you to test the limits of your character and, you know, how strong you are and how you're able to get through. You might disagree. Like, well, nobody got to be broke and struggle. That's a lie. The devil a lie. You ain't got to struggle. So let me ask you this. You truly, truly think you just going to walk into the gates, the pearly gates of what you perceive to be heaven without no trials, tribulation, being tested? If that's the case, how come the other ones got cast down, cast out, kicked out, booted out, can't come back? If that's the case, they're not going to hand it to you. They're not going to put it in your lap. We have to earn it, y'all. We have to earn it. We have to be tested. As much as they want to test us, as many times as they want to test us. And I know it's strenuous. It can feel frustrating, annoying, aggravating to show all of this discipline and hanging in there and, you know, proving the Michael and the Most High and the Divine and your beloved ancestors that you really want to walk this straight and narrow. And they tell you, keep going. They proud of you. One more thing. And then one more thing, you got to do another one more thing before you receive the gifts, the rewards, and the promises. And then you get to that one more thing and it seemed like another one more thing. And then it seemed like another one more thing. And it just keep going and keep going. You were like, I get it. It appears to be so much easier to have that shingling, dangling, shiny illusion of a carrot in front of you by those wicked and evil seeds that love to take, steal, lie, and cheat their way to the top, take from others what doesn't belong to them. It seems so much easier, but that's just an illusion. That's just a temporary, how you say it, temporary fulfillment, right? When that illusion disappears and dissipates, what are you left with? What are you left with? You still have to begin anew, start over again. If you're blessed and lucky enough to be able to do so, because not every train that is derailed off the track is able to be placed back on the track. You get what I'm saying? Not every time you go the wrong way are you fortunate enough and blessed enough to be able to correct your course and get back on track, depending on how much you left yourself out there unprotected with divine protection and healing, etc. We tend to look at protection one-dimensional. Protection is also dealing with healing and health. A person can acquire all the wealth and material gains that they like. But if you're not even healthy enough, with enough energy, stamina, wherewithal mentally to enjoy it, what's the point and a purpose? It's going to wither away or be taken and stolen by somebody else, and you won't even be able to get to enjoy it anyway, right? You're going to have to leave it behind anyway. You spent all of that time chasing something that you're not even going to get to enjoy. You spend all of that time coveting what not even going to matter. You can look at material wealth and material gain one way, but everything encompasses being blessed, being divinely guided, divinely protected. honored and respected by way of the divine, your beloved angels and ancestors and guides and ascended masters in healing. And so, for me, I'm recognizing, as we should all begin to recognize, as it pertains to these divine marriages, these high-level soul contracts, we should be utmost eager and ever willing to dive into our divine union soul contracts, because we should be seeing them as a blessing, a divine gift, the ultimate divine gift that leads to so many other blessings, y'all. This is not a knock on anybody, just an observation. If you're not accepting that, what are you doing? What are you running towards? You don't have to jump into the relationship right away. Communication is key, y'all. Speaking about what it is you still have to work on or want to work on, desire to work on. Speaking on where it is you feel that you are and what you need to cultivate in order to feel most comfortable to take that step. But communicating is allowing both parties to cut past the BS and the nonsense, the bullshit of these, hating individuals around you, trying to, mess you up like Romeo and Juliet and Othello, etc. Getting in your ear, telling you things that are untrue, painting an illusion, a false narrative to get you to fumble your own blessing, to get you to throw away your own wish fulfillment. And only after it's far too late, you realize, oh my goodness. Because most of the time, depending on what you participated in, you never muster up the courage to communicate or speak up or say, I messed up. You hide. That's what you choose to do. Hide, hide, hide. Not speak up. You acknowledge it, you're too embarrassed. People become gripped with fear, shame, and embarrassment, and they refuse to speak up and say, yo, I messed up, man. I made a mistake. We talk about not being perfect. We talk about, people healing and growing at their own pace. But how come when it comes to being embarrassed, you're too afraid to speak up? You don't want to admit you went the wrong way, made the wrong choice, made the wrong decision, and was beguiled and tricked and ended up participating in things that you knew in the first place you shouldn't have participated in, but because you chose that crowd, because you went on that adventure, you ended up getting caught up in overindulging and participating in something that most likely they can hold over your head at a later time, blackmail you with, or just keep you stuck and bound. And you never muster up the courage by way of fear and embarrassment to say, I messed up and get back on track. You wallow in a state of confusion and illusion, and then you look back after all of that mess ups, mishaps, and then you say, oh man, now I truly wish, after all of this misery and disappointment and anguish, losing everything that I coveted, from the money, self-respect, and even health, glamour, etc. I wish I would have took that leap of faith when it was presented to me. I wish I would have had the courage to be obedient to the divine. I wish I would have accepted that divine union contract. All too late now, because most of the time this is acknowledged and realized after the fact, after it's too late. I wish I would have accepted that soul contract, that high-level soul contract, that divine union. This is why I started off saying you can reject it, your divine union. You could run away from it. But I ask that you please look at everyone before you that made that choice, that made that same decision. Have they not? Aren't they now, currently, or previously experiencing, wishing they would have made that choice, had that courage, took that leap of faith? Aren't they? Is it not true? Is it not true? Or am I just making it up? Well, it would help to solidify these facts if those same individuals had the courage to speak up. Maybe they in their mishaps and going the wrong way could actually still, you know, help somebody else by becoming an advocate for not going the wrong way, an advocate for not making the wrong choice, an advocate for turning down these unions. Let me say this. When you reject, as I started out saying earlier, your person that comes in a different package than what you're accustomed to, used to, and normally would desire, they're not tall enough, they don't have a six-pack, whatever. They don't have the bald head, whatever. They're not athletically built, whatever. They don't have the eyebrows, whatever. When you reject that, you're not just rejecting or denouncing or ghosting or ignoring, which is disrespectful, that emissary, that person for the divine. You're literally, I don't necessarily want to say it this way, but if you find a better term that you feel more comfortable with, by all means, insert it. You're literally spitting in the face, shunning your spirit team, your guides, your beloved angels and ancestors. You're not just rejecting the emissary, the representative for the divine, which both of you are supposed to be up until that point, obviously. You are rejecting, releasing, ignoring, running away from, ghosting your own spirit team and your discernment, your higher consciousness, your own wish fulfillment, because the consequences thereafter, when the ball begins to roll and the things that unfolds and the dominoes that begin to fall, all is on you at that point. And your divine partner, the divine will have to re-strategize and orchestrate and rearrange, but they're going to move on, they're going to go on, and that divine union contract still remains and rests with them. Many who rejected these contracts believe, foolishly, by the way, because the package is not what they desire, the person is not what they desire, they want to move them out the way, sacrifice them, throw them under the bus, and present that divine union contract with somebody else that they desire and truly want to be with, when it don't work like that. How does that person that you want to replace with your divine partner, how do they have anything to do with a divine union that's only orchestrated and put together by the divine and both families in the spirit realm, both ancestors, both beloved ancestors and angels, etc., divine judges? How does that work? The bloodlines are coming together. The families in the spirit world are merging together. This is what a divine union is, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. The spirits, the spirit teams, the beloved ancestors are merging in the spirit world together, which produces lineages, bloodlines, and dynasties in the physical by way of these families coming together. Huh? 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 Listen, I want you to understand that it's okay to have fear, reserve. It's okay to feel like you still have things you want to work on. It's okay to feel like you didn't get enough hugs or that your previous relationship kind of tainted you. It's okay. All that's cool. That's real. That's a part of reality. Yep, it is. However, when you're presented with $1 million, 2 million, 10 million after being broke all your life, do you say, nah, I'm cool? Nah, no strings attached though. Nah, I'm good. No, for real. No strings attached. No hidden agenda. No ulterior motives. Nobody gonna jump out from behind the corner and say, I got you. This is not one of them things where they tell you, come pick up your check. You get there and you find out it's some kind of warrant, or it's not one of them things where the car is sitting there with the door wide open, keys in the ignition. You walk by, you jump in the car locked, sirens go off, No, it's not nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's saying, yo, here you go. Publishing sweepstakes, whatever the case may be. Random knock on your door, boom, 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 boom. You are the winner of this 25, 30 million. Nah, I'm good. I don't trust it, or, you know what I'm saying? And you can still not trust something, but research it. Look it up. See if there's anything connected to it that doesn't serve your highest and greatest good. As it pertains to a divine union, what I wanted to say is divine unions have to be confirmed, funneled to you by way of visions, downloads, and dreams by your beloved angels and ancestors. It's not something that you can make on your own, pick a person, say, we are in a divine union contract, and we are, just like you can't say you chosen. You'll know if you chosen. You'll know if you are chosen. A lot of people running around saying they chosen. We chosen, and people will argue and debate that. Everybody is chosen. Okay, many are called, you fill in the blanks. Many are called, you fill in the blanks. Many are called, but few are, you fill in the blanks. What differentiates the few are? What differentiates those who are and those who few are? What differentiates? I'll let you figure that out. I'll let you fill in the blanks one by one, categorically, if you feel like it. You fill in the blanks. Many are called, yet or but few are. And I'll let you categorically, systematically fill in all the blanks of what differentiates one that is and those who run around saying they are, or even the narcissistic sociopaths that are trying to weasel their way into the chosen, the collective, pretending they wasn't out here gang stalking, pretending they wasn't out here copycatting, mimicking, stealing content, copying one's platform, trying to move one out the way, shadow banning one's account, getting the numbers off the same content, subject matter that the real divine being that they tried to silence and kept them at zero, or, you know, used to be at least good 350, 500, right? But then it went, they capped it off at 26 and 30. And most of the time nowadays, just zero. Ain't nobody watching your videos, truth teller. We want you to be discouraged. We want you to feel discouraged because we want to slow you down and create the illusion that what you saying ain't real, and we want you to give up and quit and not feel good about yourself by the stupid ass games we playing, right? So the thing is, it's okay not to feel like you are completely ready to accept this union, but at least understand that you can't pick and choose who you want. You can't say, I'm going to move that package or that divine being. That's not what I choose. Typically choose for somebody else that, you know, I overindulge a party with, have a good time, and they got the best sex or whatever the case may be. No, it doesn't work like that. So what you can do is um, have it confirmed by your spirit team and your guides, because you just can't say, I have a divine union. It has to be confirmed. It's going to be confirmed. They're going to let you know if this is your person, or if it is permissible, or if you have the permission of both bloodlines, both families, both beloved ancestors in the spirit realm, the divine judges and elders that ultimately decide, and everybody come together as a conglomerate to decide that this union is absolutely accepted and decreed and declared and approved. You'll know, even if you use whatever spiritual practices and methods that you communicate with your spirit team to receive confirmations before you make any major decisions. You hopefully, if you're calling yourself chosen or divine being, or saying that you're tapped in, or you receive messages, and if you're saying that and claiming that, hopefully you have a means and a way of receiving confirmation and guidance, and you are checking with your spirit team before you make major life decisions. Hopefully you include them Then you say, should I go right or left? Should I do this? Yay or nay? Should I get involved with this? Should I be a part of this? Should I accept this person in my circle? Should I accept this person in my life? Should I swap DNA and body fluids with this person? Is this person for me? Etc., etc., etc. Hopefully you're not the type to say, love is in the air, been too long, I've been patient, I've been waiting. I asked my spirit team, but Lord answers when they gonna send something through. About that time, it cold. You know what I mean? I don't want to be alone. I want to be wrapped up and warm. You know what I mean? I want to feel a little something. Let me go ahead and pick something. Hopefully you're not making those choices. Not in that fashion, not in that way. If you're divine and you're tapped in and you say you have a spirit team and you acknowledge yourself as a chosen, you have to think long-term consistently to allow your steps to be guided and be a co-creator with the divine and your spirit team, and not just be out here, blowing in the wind, making choices because you feel like making choices. Because then you have to look further into the situation and are we really, a part of the collective? Are you really, you know, part of this percentile, this collective over here that's under Michael, or y'all got some other stuff going on? You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to, come forward with that because I'm realizing that we are some gifted, talented readers and divine beings, chosen ones. But when it comes to that love thing, we will run in the opposite direction quick, real fast, as if we lost all our whole compass. We will run in a direction real fast, like it's kryptonite or something, and won't even consider that it's a blessing. It's not a punishment. It's not a life sentence. It is, but it's not a life sentence in a negative way. All good comes from it because your guides and spirit team is not going to guide you wrong. They're not going to lead you astray. They're not going to put you in something that's going to have you all messed up and discombobulated and hurt, disappointed. They're going to steal your money or take your money or, you know what I'm saying? Now, fine, granted, the two of you might come together and say, yo, I still want prenup situation, arrangements, blah, 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 blah. Cool, whatever y'all decide, whatever your boundaries are, that's fine. I'm just saying the union in of itself is so much greater than the material. That's going to come. But do you realize the spirit codes, right? The energetic codes that you two are going to unlock within each other. Do you realize that by coming together with your divine half, your other half, the codes that gets unlocked, your special gifts, ancient gifts, skills, and talents that you didn't realize was lying dormant, that's only going to be unlocked when you get with your divine partner, being accepted by certain powerful, potent, supreme, and superior beings within all of existence. Do you realize the healing that comes with these beings, your divine partner, having special golden healing energy? Do you realize, obviously, the realizations are not 100% there. However, I'm letting you know that much of what we're talking about, discussing when we're discussing divine unions and high-level soul contract entails everything that you believe you have to run in the other direction, drag your feet, avoid communicating, ghosting, ignoring, rejecting, denouncing, hiding, burying your head in the sand, jumping in the closet, joining the dark cult and coven, being beguiled and tricked and lured by the opposite energy. All of these things can be avoided if you didn't draw a line in the sand and say, I'm not going any further when it comes to this love. I'm divine and I'm chosen until you presented me with this divine union, told me about love. Now I'm wondering if I'm going to be controlled. I'm wondering if I'm going to be taken advantage of. I'm wondering if I'm going to have enough money. No, the two of you together cultivate and build. Sure, you want to have a nice, comfortable cushion. But the two of you together is going to build so much more than you can fathom. if it's done right, if it's honored correctly, and if they truly step up and commit the way that they are supposed to. If the two of you agree to this union and they step up, the two of you are going to cultivate and build together far more than you could have possibly imagined and fathomed, right? But I was just thinking about this, and I'm gonna leave it there, and I appreciate it. Hopefully, when it comes to this stuff, man, not stuff, but when it comes to these unions, we get it together, because I realize this domino effect, us running in the opposite direction, holding up divine planning, and the divine has to rearrange and reorchestrate, and us leaving our persons hanging with all that's going on and the direction the world is going and how everything is unfolding. We're afraid to step up.